Good evening. And if you're just tuning in, you are listening to 105.3 FM out of Mississippi and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network, or we just like to call it UPRN. And this is Angel Rock. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin. If you've been here before, welcome. We love to have you all back. And if you're new, come hang out with us. We love to have new people joining us because we've got a Fan Fav on tonight, but I'm going to introduce her in just a sec. I get all the housekeeping things out of the way. So I'm a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, registered nurse. I am also a budding animal communicator. I am also well versed in near-death experiences, having had one as a toddler myself and studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years. And lastly, well versed in the paranormal. I always say we never went looking for it. It found us. And in our previous home in particular, we shared our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor, season 4, episode 9. So if you guys like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. This network's been around for over 25 plus years, and we stream multiple shows daily, 7 days a week. And when we're not live, the archive server dips into the last 25 plus years and randomly picks shows from past hosts, present hosts, and there really is something for everybody here. I believe we're almost up to 40 live hosts on the network. Hang on, I got to grab a drink here. Sorry. Hang on.
Sorry.
My throat was dry before I started, so I got a couple drinks here. Anyways, and there really is, like I said, something for everybody here. And we're always adding new shows and new hosts. So it's not all just spooky stuff, paranormal. We've got a whole gamut of different shows and topics. So please tell all your friends and family, and please like, share, and subscribe. So if the thing is, 80% of our audience is audio only. This network does broadcast to every country in the world, believe it or not. So if you're listening, you're not able to comment, but we love when you comment. This show, The Angel Rock, and my second show that I started with my amazing co-host and friend David Hansel, who is a medium and angel channel, is called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Both of these shows are very audience participative. I always say, if we didn't have all of you that are here joining the chat and listening to Carmen, my guest tonight, and I would be having a great conversation, which we could, but we want to talk about our new books. So if you want to watch, please head over to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio on Facebook and YouTube, because if you're watching, you can comment and we will see your comments. And I always try to involve everybody that's here as part of the show. You can also head over to my YouTube channel, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. I know Carmen, our guest, I'm going to read her bio in a sec. She's streaming to her YouTube channel. I'm trying to see the name of it. She'll have to tell us. I think it's just under Carmen Turner-Schott, isn't it, Carmen?
Yes, Carmen Turner-Schott.
Okay. And we are also streaming to Canada's Most Haunted. I'm trying to think where else. I'm going to share it as we get talking to my profile on Facebook. It's public, so you don't have to be on my friends list. You could watch it over there. I'll pin it to the top. And lastly, we are streaming to my Instagram. You're tried it on yours, Carmen, but we don't know if it's live or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's working.
Okay. Well, I was just going to tell people, though, the thing with Instagram, now there was a limit. They were only letting us stream live for an hour. So I don't know if they fixed that or not yet, because I haven't seen the little warning message come up. But they don't integrate the comments in the main chat here. So I try to pop back and forth as we're talking, and I'll try to pull you into the conversation if you're over there. So please don't think we're ignoring you. Let me see if I forgot anything. I leave myself a checklist now because I usually forget something. The last thing is, if you guys want to watch us on TV, you can. We have a channel for the network. It is on Roku. And how you do that is you're going to go to the channel store on Roku and type in UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop down list and we're about the third or fourth one down, and you're looking for UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio. and that is us. And you can watch us on TV. I think I have remembered everything I have to say. The other thing is, I want to remind y'all, we do have a big paranormal conference coming up here where I live in Thunder Bay in northwestern Ontario, Canada. We've got some huge people coming to speak, including Shane Pittman. We've got Jeff Belanger. We've got Haunted History that's on TV right now. And Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, one of our own hosts and one of my very close friends. She's the host of Spirit Switchboard on Fridays at 6 p.m. She is going to be one of the featured speakers. I am also speaking, but I'm in a smaller room. And I have a merch table that'll be there. There's paranormal investigation. There's all kinds of stuff. October 4th to 6th, and you're going to check that out through Lucky Paranormal that's putting it on. And it's Lake Superior Paracon.com. And we got Michelle Wilfong. Hello. I see Carmen already said hi to her. So, Michelle, I don't know if you joined the show before because Carmen's been on many times. I always say to her, woman, I don't know how you find the time to write the incredible books that you do. And she does. She's got a new book. So let me tell you a little bit about Carmen. Carmen Turner-Schott has a master's in social work, and she is a licensed social worker practicing. Actually, it says is a practicing licensed clinical social worker, or I call that the muggle job. She's an astrologer, writer, and teacher with a national and international clientele, and she is incredible. She really is. She's bang on. She has been working as an astrological counselor with victims of trauma for over 25 years. She completed her Master of Social Work degree at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri in 1999. Sorry, you guys, let me know if there's a little bit of a background noise. I can hear it. So if there is, we'll see what we can do. I am going to throw this in, Carmen, because I forgot to tell you this before we went live. My eldest son has gone back to university and is going into his third year now to get his social work.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Congrats.
I forget that. Yes.
Yeah.
So Carmen has been researching the eighth and 12th house for the past 25 years. You guys have to check out her first book because that's kind of how we connected with your first book, The Fallen Angels. And how do astrology and fallen angels have to go together? And it is an incredible book, incredible. We had so much fun in that interview. And I'll go back to this again. An 8th and 12th house person herself. She has personally experienced the energies and lessons of these two very spiritually transforming houses. She has presented astrology workshops for the Association of Research and Enlightenment, or ARE, throughout the years, and teaches a variety of spiritual development classes. She is a published author, and her two newest books, Phoenixes and Angels, Mastering the 8th and 12th Astrological Houses, and The Mysteries of the 12th Astrological House. That's the Fallen Angels title. Mm-hmm. You can find those on her website, CarmenTurner-Schott.com. But she's here because she's written a new book. And I'm going to read this because I think it's well written, that Gavin sent me, and I think it explains things. So she has a brand new book that she co-wrote with Bernie Ashman, and it's called Astrology's Magical Nodes of the Moon, Releasing the Past and Embracing the Future. And it's a guide that will help you in learning the basics about astrology, the importance of the moon nodes in your birth chart, and your soul's highest purpose. I won't read the whole thing because we're going to talk about it. Welcome, Carmen. Thanks for your patience with me as I read away there.
No worries.
So I remember when you were on, like this was probably about 4 months ago, I think, maybe 6. And you were telling me you're writing another book. And I kept saying, how the heck do you do this? I have 3 books that I still have not gotten written. All I've gotten is the outline. So it's crazy.
I don't know. I some of it is, I pretty much live on the computer. And so pretty much after my normal job, I'm on my laptop, and any spare minute I get on the weekend at night, I'm just plugging away. But this book, the Astrology's Magical Nodes of the Moon, about our soul mission and the moon's nodes in our past lives, it kind of came together easily because I partnered with my friend and mentor, who's also an astrologer, Bernie Ashman. He's wrote books too, and he's an 8th house Phoenix, and he's been in my Facebook astrology
Can you
group.
explain to people though, because what I'm going to add is, and I've met people in our line of work that either know a little bit about astrology, which would be me, or they are crazy passionate about it. And when you came on my show the first time, you were the first person that ever made it so clear for me why astrology is so important. So can you maybe explain that, like what happens, why you need the birth date, and then what you're talking about? Because there's going to be people tuning in there who have no clue what you're talking about.
Absolutely. So so everybody that when you're born,
Mm-hmm.
you have what we call a map of the soul. And the map of the soul is what astrologers call a natal chart or birth chart.
Mm-hmm.
And how we calculate that, if you just imagine, you're a soul, you're not a body. So you're an essence, you're an energy, whatever you want to believe, but it's
Right.
energy. So your energy decides to come into the earth realm at a certain time when your karma, when you're learning, when all the things are in line that your soul wants to come and learn. And
Right.
so, we pick our parents, we pick our situation. We kind of know before we come, is what I believe, that of what family, what situation will get us to where we want to be. So what happens is on the day of your birth and the year of your birth and the exact time of your birth and the place of your birth. So city, state, country is
Mm-hmm.
very important to know your time and place, because that's how you get the most accurate chart. And what a chart is imagine that you're at Earth, you're looking up at the sky, the moment, time, place of your birth. All the planets, the 10 main planets in astronomy, are all in a certain area of the sky when you're born.
Right.
And they fall into one of the 12 astrological signs or constellations. So the planets are in a certain sign, and there's a certain area of the sky that they're in. And what we do is we break the sky into like a pie, into 12 sections. And astrologers kind of cut the sky into 12 sections. We take a picture of the sky at that moment, time, place, your birth, and it's like we put a picture of it on a piece of paper.
That
And it,
when you said that, it was like a light bulb went off in my head. I remember you said for the first time, I was never forgot this. This was a couple of years ago. You said it's basically a snapshot of the sky, the moment you
yes,
basically are born. But what I do want to add, so you guys know how incredible Carmen is. We'll say hi to Z Sun Dragon. He says hi, Carmen. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Lorilei, or Kevin. That's his muggle name. So he's one of our regulars too, besides Michelle. But where I was going with this is, hang on, I lost my train of thought as I had to say hi to people. Oh, I know what it is. So the first time you were on here, and you do offer, depending on your website, different freemiums or little giveaways. And for
yeah.
the longest time, Carmen was actually offering a free natal chart. And I've told lots of people about you off air. And most people say, well, there's no way Carmen could work with me. Then I don't know what time I was born. I go, oh, she has a way to figure that out. But
Yeah.
my chart, I didn't say a word to her, you guys. I didn't say a word, but I sent my time of birth that I thought around. I had an idea. I sent my birthplace and my name. Carmen wrote me back 30 minutes later, or no, maybe it was not even that long. And you said, are you sure that that's exact time? Like maybe it couldn't have been a little bit, maybe a half hour one way or the other. And I went, oh my gosh, like how would she know that? And I wasn't trying to trick you. I hadn't
Yeah.
even thought of it
Yeah.
until you said that. And you were absolutely right. That is how good you are.
Thank
That
you.
it was
Thank
bang
you.
on the chart.
It is because it's energy. So
Mhm.
when I know someone, or when you first meet someone, you usually pick up on their rising sign, which is the energy that you give out to the world. We call the rising sign the mask. It's
Okay.
the mask that we wear. So people typically misjudge us if our rising sign is different than our sun sign and moon sign.
Mhm.
They don't know who we are. They're like, like if you're an Aquarius rising, they may say, oh, they're kind of zany and emotionally detached and really intellectual. But then when they get to know you, could be a Scorpio sun and a moon in Taurus, and be really deep and passionate. And they don't see that side of you. So
Mhm.
that first instant is that energy you feel. So when I don't feel, when I do a chart and it's not number one, if it's not resonating with you, if you're like, no, it doesn't really feel like me, we don't have the right time. Number one. Number two, my vibe about people's typically right. I'm an empath. So if I feel energy, I feel energy. And I knew there was something off with your chart a bit
I
because
think I was in the 8th house, if I remember correctly.
yeah, you are. You're an eighth houser.
Mhm.
Yes.
Can you
And
explain to people really briefly? She's such an incredible teacher, you guys. Every time I have Carmen on to get all kinds of feedback, people love her. I love her personally. She's awesome. But can you explain a little bit why you were drawn? And then we're going to get into your book so people understand. So we're talking to people maybe that have never heard of astrology. A lot of the people in the chat have, but people that are listening in audio land may not have any idea but want to learn more about it. So
yeah, so you want me to tell about the eighth house?
yeah, why the 8th and 12th house? Because you've done a lot of work there. You
Yes.
said also the 4th house, but for people that don't know what that is, and I've met so many people, you really had an impact on me the first show you did, because I learned so much from you. And now when I meet people, you can almost see when you meet people that fall into the 8th house,
Yeah.
particularly, and the 12th, because we talked about it. I'm sure there's others I've met that once if I understood it a bit more, astrology, I get it, but
Yeah. Yeah. So what got me into astrology was really paranormal experiences that I had, mystical experiences that no one could explain. Glowing ball light in my doorway, it froze me when I was 16 years old. I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe. I'd wake up at night and have very strange things happening. And I'd be scared of the dark, go get my mother, there's somebody in my room, go back to sleep, it's your imagination kind of thing. So
yeah.
that's what got me into astrology, because I wanted to know why I was so different than my family and all my friends, and why I was so weird. I mean, I was in a muggle, I was different.
Yeah, I think we all are. We find
Yeah,
really
I
right when we
love
get
that
in
word when
school.
you say muggle. I was raised by muggles,
Yeah,
but
me too.
I always felt very different. And so I just started to becoming obsessed with learning everything I could about angels, spirit guides. And I got my first astrology book when I was 16. And I started learning how to do my chart by hand and all this stuff. And I didn't know what anything meant. I mean, I taught it all myself. But what I noticed was I had planets in the 12th and 8th houses, specifically quite a bit of them.
Mhm.
And when I would read in the books, analyze myself, I'd look up, oh, sun in the 12th, moon in the 8th. What does that mean? It was like, oh my gosh, it's like saying that, you're going to have these mystical experiences. You could dream things that happen. It started validating, this is why I'm different. Like, you feel like you're
Yeah.
from another world, you see ghosts, all this stuff. So, and connected to the dead. And that's what got me with the eighth house, because I always was afraid of dying. I used to lay in bed at night and think, what if I die?
Mhm.
Where will I go? What
When
happened?
I was little, I was very similar to you, very afraid of dying. I remember there was a fire when I was a little girl, a couple blocks away from my house, and I was only about 7 or 8. I must have laid awake at night for a week. I was so terrified our house was going to light on fire. I was
Yeah,
scared of the dark and
yeah,
all these
yeah.
crazy paranormal experiences too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm
You're
validating
That's
what you're
because you're a
saying. I get
phoenix.
it.
You're
Mhm.
an eighth house phoenix.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll see what this means to people. So these unexplained experiences, with death and these meaningful things, like wanting to know why I'm here, why am I on this earth? Like, I'm not from here. Eighth and 12th house people, that means you have planets in the eighth house or 12th house in your birth chart.
Right.
Also, you could have a lot of Pisces energy
Mhm.
in your personality, or a lot of Scorpio energy. That also makes you what I call a phoenix and an angel,
Mhm.
because eighth housers are phoenixes. They
Mhm.
rise from the ashes.
I
They
do many
rebuild
times.
all over, and they have these very intense, very traumatic experiences. They're healers. They
Yep.
heal themselves. They can
Mhm.
heal others because they've been through the hardships of life. They've
Mhm.
been knocked down and they are able to get back up. It's
Every
strong.
time.
Yes. So eighth housers are resilient. That's
Mhm.
why the phoenix is often associated with the eighth house in Scorpio, because
Mhm.
Scorpio rules that area life. And
Okay.
then the 12th house is all about Pisces. It's angel energy. It's mysticism. It's connecting to a higher power,
Mhm.
finding your oneness with God. And Marcy's, she's one of my buddies. She's in my groups, and a good friend of mine. She's an eighth houser and a 12th houser, and so she loves this stuff. And she's lived this, like you, Laura, like all of us, these experiences. So when I started realizing I started doing charts at 19, and I started asking people that have planets in the 8th and 12th house, have you had these experiences? Have these things happen? And they were like, oh my God, how did you know that? And they'd start to cry. They would start getting really emotional. And I realized that doing an astrology chart for someone and talking about what I saw and the patterns, the energy, the different possible situations they could have, experienced, it validated their life. And they're like, whoa, how did you know this? And I'm like, it's a science. It's your chart. It's your soul. It's the map of your soul. And so I started collecting research. People that have trauma, people that have lost a loved one at a young age, a parent, a sibling, a friend through early death, often have 8th house planets. People that are empathic, psychic, dream things, feel things, sensitive to people, easily hurt, bullied, feel like they're outcast. People don't understand them. They feel like they're alien. People that believe in aliens, people that have a natural open-mindedness to these
experiences with it.
Experiences with it. And when I was in high school, I was, a normal muggle in some ways. I mean, I played basketball. I did all these things.
Me too. I lived, breathed, and slept basketball.
Yeah, I was an athlete, but I had this other side of me that people didn't really know until they got to know me. That I believed in aliens. I saw a UFO. I believed in angels. I have the weird orb, and they actually got me a gag gift my senior year in high school, which is so long ago now. Now I'm 49, but my God, what was I, 16?
I didn't realize I'm 10 years older than you. I just turned 59.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, you don't look it. You look,
well,
that's
thank
Leo.
you.
That's the Leo rising, or I believe you've got Leo in there that makes you your main, and you look younger than you are.
Oh, well, that's good. I hope it
lasts. That's a blessing. That's a good thing to have in your chart, is that Leo.
Yeah, I'm a Leo.
Yeah. So it's like, they got me this gag gift. They got me like the alien from the movie just to mess with me. And they got me like an Inquirer magazine because they thought I was like in conspiracy theories. Yeah. I was into, well, how do we know that, the pyramids were made by I was into all that stuff.
Our owner of our network, I don't get to see him as much anymore, but he does a lot of ufology, Joe Montaldo. So I give him a shout out. He's provided this excellent network. But when he used to produce the shows, I always used to have an hour between my show and the next, because my show was a lot later before, because I've been here just over 5 years. And he used to call me Conspiracy Princess. He says, I only know one woman that believes in conspiracies more than you, so she gets called the queen and you're the princess. He's got that great Cajun accent from New Orleans, right? And it's true though, and I hate the word conspiracy. I call it truth seeking, but I get it.
Oh yeah, I was in, like, I remember when I was at 19, I would think about, okay, I want to live on the land to be able to grow my own food, and like, what if the world ends? What if something happens? Like I was into all this stuff, so I had to learn to balance that, and that's my node. So we'll get into
I got to ask you though quickly, how did you feel when they gave you that gift? Like, did you just sort of smile, but deep down it a little bit hurt? Like, it's like,
people always hurt me. And,
because it's real to you. And of course, you can't say, you guys really hurt my feelings. So you got to kind of giggle afterwards. You're thinking, why would they do this? Right.
Well, they would tease me, like I was, super sensitive, like, oh, it's Carmen being her. And, because I was imaginative, creative, and, they just kind of teased me. But what was really cool is that glowing ball of light, my mother saw it too. I finally was able to scream for her once it released me. And my mother, who was very skeptical, my mother told the girls on the basketball team one day, because, at night we'd be driving on the bus and everybody wanted to tell ghost stories. Like, and Carmen, tell ghost stories. So I'd be telling all these, crazy ghost stories and stuff, because I was real imaginative about stuff. That's why I can't watch scary movies. Never.
I hate them.
I can't watch
scares, even movies anything. I have seen with a lot of suspense, and I'm literally talking to myself going, why are you being so
I can't watch ghost movies, supernatural, anything that's realistic or based on a true story, forget it. I will be up and I'll be seeing, I have to have the nightlight on, like I'm still like a scaredy cat. Like I don't even watch stuff because it'll get me. Even a commercial, I'll change it real quick because I'm like, I don't want to see it. Because I believe in that stuff and I don't want to, I don't put my energy there. But anyway, my mom told him, hey, the glowing orb was real, so they were like, whoa, her mother saw, so they kind of believed me a little more, back then. But I didn't really care because I was me, and I knew I was born this way. And so when astrology validated that why I was the way I was. And so when I started collecting all these stories from people from all over the world, when even back before we had Facebook, man, I had people writing me about articles I posted out there.
Yeah.
And I realized that they all were validating all of the spiritual experiences and abilities. So 8th and 12th house people and Pisces and Scorpio people specifically, that's my research, they have psychic gifts, spiritual abilities that they're born with. Whether they believe in it or not, they may block it, they may hide it, they may not even nurture it or know they have it, or they may know they have it, but they don't want to go there, or they embrace it and they end up becoming psychic astrologers, tarot, healers.
Yeah.
And what's funny is every time I'm on a podcast like this, I always say, send me your chart, or they end up, sending me the chart. And they're all 8th and 12th house people that have these
Podcasters that you run into?
Yes, all of them.
Gosh.
I don't think I met one that didn't have planets in the 8th and 12th houses, or a lot of Scorpio and Pisces. They are this is what they talk about. This is like them. And I'm like, oh my God, you're an 8th houser. And they're like, what's that mean? And I start there, oh, that's me. Oh yeah. I was just on a show the other night. What was it? Paranormal Soup. And
Jason's show. I know Jason.
It was such a blast. And he's like, oh, I want to have you back on. I was looking at his chart, everybody's chart. And but yeah, 8th house. I mean, it's just the way it is. And Pisces.
Jason has abilities. I haven't been to his show in a long time, but I can tell you, in my previous home with our paranormal experiences, he helped me in so many ways. I used to go to a show every week, and I would call in. I have some recordings from he called them ITC nights at Halloween.
Wow.
That if you heard what came through, you wouldn't want to, because it would scare you.
I don't want to.
This was intelligent, and they say EVPs, or electronic voice phenomena, for people that may not know listening. Usually you got to have headphones on, you got to listen 10 times and you're not sure. This is like you and I talking. And I'm not a major Harry Potter fan, but that's where Muggle comes from for people.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
But the voice of Slytherin when Harry Potter's speaking snake, that is what that voice sounded like.
No.
It's called Jason by name on there. Live.
No.
I'm getting goosebumps as I'm telling you.
I don't want nothing to do with that.
Jason is awesome, and I promote his show many times on this network because he's got a great show.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. I love going on. And the cool thing, now that I saw Marcy said something that's important for you to know. You are in your Saturn return right now.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Okay, so the Saturn return has to do with the nodes of the moon. Okay, so
you know what? And you always read my mind when I'm on here. I say this because you really do, because that's where I was going with this. Let's get into this, because I don't, and guys, I'm honest, I don't know a lot about astrology. If you've been on my shows before, you know that. I am one of those people, but I'm telling you, if there's anybody that can teach you, it is Carmen, because I never really got it. I always used to say, I know I'm a Leo and somebody's in this house and that house and this moon and that. I got no clue. But you actually really inspired me, and I've learned every time you come on here. So please tell us.
Yeah, thank you. So that birth chart we're talking about, there's a planet called Saturn. Saturn is known as the teacher. Okay. It's the wise instructor. It's karma. So Saturn shows our karma. It shows our past lives. It shows where we feel a little bit cautious, a little bit uncomfortable in our life. Saturn brings a lot of wealth and good fortune and like work blessings. Usually,
I need that.
Later in life, though. But Saturn everyone has a Saturn in their birth chart. Everyone has this. So what happens is we call it the Saturn return. So the first time you ever feel the pull towards your soul mission, which is your north node of the moon. It's a horseshoe looking thing like headphones, and it's in your chart. That the first time you ever even know why you're here is not until the age of 27 to 30. And that's the first time Saturn kicks our butt, so to speak, because it awakens us to, wait a minute, we're here for a reason. And so it brings a lot of change and upheaval into our lives at that age period. which we call, cycles. It's a cycle. So 27 to 30, people get married, people have babies, people
I did.
divorce, people change
Mhm.
careers, people get sick, they
I
move.
almost died. I had a lot of upheaval in those years. Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
And
Mhm.
and what it does is it awakens us. For the first time, we start feeling the pull towards the north node sign and house in our birth chart. Before that, we're all living in the past, which is cozy and comfortable, in our south node, which is an upside down headphone. And that's what the whatever sign it's in, whatever house it's in, is what our soul has brought into this lifetime. All of
Okay.
our gifts, all of our abilities, all of our interest, all of our karma, everything we've learned in our soul, we are the south node deep in our soul. We're naturally that way. We don't have to try at it. We've mastered it. But
Okay.
this lifetime, we have to start balancing. I don't want to say give up the south node, but we do have to give up some of the negative traits of the south node so we can move into our soul mission, which is the north node of the moon. We're here on this earth to master the north node of the moon, the sign it's in and the house it's in. That is the most important thing in your astrology chart, guys, is the north node of the moon.
Well, I'm comfortable with this. Whenever you might wait, and we've done this before. So my birth date is August 15th, 1965. I always thought I was born at about 5:10 a.m., but you figured it was probably earlier a half hour. It could have been later a half hour.
Mhm.
Hi,
And
Julie Jean Bassett. We got Cosmic Child 11 or 1111 says, "Hi, Carmen. So good to see you."
hi
But I
everyone.
know just so to them because you are a really incredible teacher, and I've told you this many times on the show and off the air. The thing I like about it is you really demystify this. Like that is so the way you just described the nodes.
Yeah.
Anybody could understand that. So
I hope so. That makes me feel good. So thank you for validating that, because that's what I want to
you
do.
are the first person, and I tell so many. I have sent so many people to your website. I've told so many people about you, and it's because I half the time it sounded like somebody was speaking gibberish. I had no idea. Like I knew I was a Leo, and then you'd hear about this house and this house and this moon and this. And it's like I got no idea what you're freaking talking about. You made sense for me.
Thank you. Yeah,
Mm.
because astrology it seems complex,
Mhm.
but I want to teach it so everyone can love it as much as I do, because it's my passion. And a lot of astrologers, and there is a lot of science and technology, like degrees of this and aspects and all this stuff. I don't even go there. I want to teach people that don't know anything about it, or just kind of know their sun sign, or want to learn more, the basics, and to see it as a tool of energy and self-awareness that you can use in your life to heal, transform, and become more resilient as a person. That's my goal.
I'm
That's
going to add, though, the one thing that really opened up for me when I understood that first time you were on, and it's Marcy, you said, she
yeah.
said, Carmen's a wonderful teacher. And then she said, it's the truth, and you're a great person. She sure is. I just love her. But the one thing that really came to fruition for me the first time you were on, and I was so intrigued. I never say no to Gavin, anyways. Gavin
Oh
Davies,
yeah,
for anybody, he's an incredible publisher. Always
amazing.
sends me wonderful authors. But we've gotten to know each other, and there's been times you've been on not even through because Gavin, because I love what you do. But after that first time, and what really intrigued me was fallen angels, and I had to know, what does fallen angels have to do with astrology? We now know that was at the beginning of the show, but it
Yeah,
made me realize when we come here and we're going through tough times,
yeah,
everybody has them. What do people feel like? They always say, I'm so alone. Why am I here? I don't even know why I'm here. And it made me realize, and Spirit gave me this one time when you were on, I think it was the first time, is, you think about it as a good parent, whether you're pet parent, child parent, whatever you are, you look after somebody that you love and care for,
yeah,
that's reliant on you. And so I'm going to use a father, right? Your father and mother maybe are sending a child off to camp
mm,
for 2 weeks. They're going to pack everything they need. They're going to put maybe some maps. They're going to put snacks. They're going to put everything the child needs. And I realized for me, my belief system, and I never push it on people because you can believe whatever works for you,
yeah,
is God. And if God is our father, I thought, holy cow,
yeah.
really didn't send us all alone. And I
Oh,
really think astrology was huge. We've got guides. There's so many other things we've got. but we've got like almost like a map to the soul with astrology, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I believe that God created astrology. It's in the Bible. It's throughout the Bible. I got a little ebook called Astrology from a Christian Perspective on Kindle. It's just articles I wrote about astrology in the Bible, and it's out on Amazon if you guys are interested. And it's like just it's like that big. It's like $5.
That's
But I published that because because I call myself a Christian
mhm,
astrologer. I'm a Christian mystic. That I
mhm.
believe in
Me
reincarnation,
too. Yep.
and I believe, and I know the church used to teach reincarnation. It was part of the Catholic Church, and so there's a lot of hidden knowledge and things that were kept from us.
Yeah.
And astrology is all throughout the Bible, but even and then people are all about it's in the Old Testament to the New Testament. Even Jesus told the disciples, think about it. There's 12 zodiac signs.
Hmm.
There's 12 sons of Jacob. There's 12 disciples.
Hmm.
Okay, possibly 13, Mary Magdalene. And then there's that new, or there's another 13th constellation some people believe in. I'm not going to get into that, but there's all kinds of these, theories about 12. And in the ancient Hebrew, in the Jewish temples in ancient times, the symbols of the 12 zodiac signs were on the money, on the floor of this. I mean, it's been in religion and throughout ancient times. But and even Jesus said to the disciples, like, how will we know when you'll return? There shall be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. That gives me chills, man. That's astrology.
Yep.
And we know that these transits and these things going on in the sky right now are infecting people's lives. I mean, astrologers can accurately predict the energy and potentials of what possibly might happen, even down to the moment sometimes, because it's a science, it's an energy that can be interpreted, just like astronomy. I mean, but the thing is, it's always been a pseudoscience because people don't know. That's why I'm trying to do more research about the eighth and 12th houses, for instance. And I'm doing an article. Actually, I did a quantitative research study recently on the 12th house specifically in 5 patterns that I have seen in random charts of people that I'll just say, send me your charts if you have 12th house planets. I had them do an assessment. 99% of them said yes to all 5 patterns. That's science. How is that true? How? Because it's real.
Hmm.
It's not made. It's created by the universe, by God.
And
It's
it's not subjective in the way of that you can just say,
yeah,
well, I think they fit here. Like you're seeing the character traits. Like
yes,
Cosmic Child 1111 is talking about, they said, yes, astrology has been an incredibly healing tool for me on my journey to understand the deeper meaning of life's experiences. Carmen's books are so easy to understand. I have 3 of them so far. Kathy
thank
Hanley Little, you did her chart the last time she was on here because
you.
that's what you were offering on your website.
Yeah.
She's in the 8th house, and she said Carmen is right on.
Oh, thank you guys.
But you were the first person. But now I want to know about this newest book. I want to know about the moons. How
Yeah,
did the moons come in? The whole bit.
yeah. So the first Saturn return, like I said, we start feeling, oh, we feel different. We're forever changed. We start feeling the pull towards this North Node sign and house, even though we may not know it. If you don't know astrology, you wouldn't know what the heck's going on when you're 27 to 30. And now what happens by the time we are 57 to 60,
Right.
which you're in yours now,
Yeah.
you're in your second Saturn return.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather, who I told you I just went to visit this weekend, is in his third Saturn return right now.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so that is a challenging time. But what it also
It
does is
is.
you get into your soul mission. By the time someone is 61,
Mm-hmm.
if I do a chart for anyone after age 61, I've done many of them, they're in their node. They're like, oh yeah, Carmen, been there, done that. Everything I'm telling them about the South Node, their past lives, the things they're supposed to learn and let go of. They're like, oh yeah, I've been through that. That's my whole life. I've been through this. And now I'm doing it. I'm doing my mission. And we get there no matter what, guys. So it doesn't, we can resist our node, or we can just be completely blindsided. And the universe is like, okay, Carmen, I'm going to shake up your life because you're not on the right path.
Yeah.
Not to punish us. It's because we chose to come here to learn something. In our soul, we meet people and situations to awaken us. and to open our eyes to why we're here. And it may be, some people might bring us pain. Some people may betray us. Some people may help us so much and help and open a door for us. Everything that happens is to get us into the North Node. And I knew this, for about 10 years now. I started realizing how important the nodes were. And because of my own life. And I thought, my North Node is in Scorpio and my South Node is Taurus. And my North Node is in the 3rd house, which is writing and teaching.
Then you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, I'm trying, but I'll be honest, and I'm doing the 3rd house stuff, but I still am struggling now because I'm only 49. I'm not in the node fully yet. I'm not done learning, but I'm trying to become a Scorpio. And I can say that 10 years ago, I thought I will never be a Scorpio. How am I ever gonna feel like that? Because I'm so opposite of that. I'm like a 12th house Pisces, Virgo, mystical, like everybody's like me, idealistic and imaginative. And Scorpios don't, they're like, I see through you. You're full of crap. I don't trust you. They trust their gut. They're very
black and white. My brother is a Scorpio, just astrology sign, and he's like that. Most I met my ex-husband was too.
Yeah. Well, they can cut people off eventually that aren't good for them. That's what I did not know how to do, because I would always let people back into my life that hurt me. I would always forgive and open that's 12th house, because 12th house angels, 12th house people lack boundaries. So I knew I got to become a Scorpio. So this is the thing about Scorpio. Scorpio North Node people and South Node Taurus, and this also goes for when they're flip. Say someone's South Node Scorpio, North Node Taurus. It's a similar energy. Those nodes are the nodes of healing, the nodes of forgiveness and letting go of the past. And they're the nodes of being very spiritual. And how do you do those things without having some pain? Think about it. So I'm going to go.
I agree 100%. I always say when things are status quo, and I use the example when you fall in love for the first time. Everything is beautiful. Food tastes better. The colors are brighter. Life is amazing. And what do we all say? I wish it could be like this forever. You have no impetus for change. When we want change or we want to evolve, grow, whether we like it or not, it's pain that we go through. And you have the choice to stay in the victim mode. You have the choice to start moving on and moving out of that pain so you grow and learn, right?
So I had an experience happen, and I've been knowing I need to be a Scorpio North Node. I knew this, but I was running and I was listening to music, and I was feeling really like a victim. I'll be honest with you. I felt so hurt. I felt like I couldn't heal. I couldn't truly let go of the past. It was my Taurus South Node. I was still living in the South Node, and we have to balance, right? So life happened, and I was running and walking in my hometown, and I'm very nostalgic because Tauruses are connected to the past. So my hometown, old love, old friends, family, and I was in my hometown when this happened, and I thought, why is this happening to me? Why are you doing this to me, God? This is kind of what I asked myself. And I heard this voice in my head, and I told my daughter this. My daughter's like, "You're crazy," because she's
hearing voices.
Her nodes are opposite of my nodes. So I'm going to get into that too, guys, with parents and children, because they're here to be your mirror and to teach you things. And we're learning from our children; they're learning from us. So I'm going to get into that cool research I did about the nodes with kids in our family. But I said, "Why is this happening to me? And why can't I just get over this?" And this voice came in my head, and it said, "How else will I ever make you a Scorpio?"
Oh, wow.
And
did that stop you in your tracks? Because I would have stopped me in my tracks.
It was like, how else will I make you a Scorpio? And then I felt like I'm not being punished. Like I finally felt it. Holy shit. Like, yeah, how else am I going to be a Scorpio if I'm not rock bottom and hurt and have betrayal and lose people I love and go through grief and death and have to go to funerals and do all this stuff. So I knew then, these things happened, even though they were horrible in my mind, in my conscious mind. My soul needed to go through them to make me tough. Bottom line, to make me stronger and to be a survivor, not a victim, but to heal it and realize, hey, this is to get me into my node. This is actually a benefit, because I don't want to have to come back here again and redo all this stuff. Like, I want to master what I'm here to do. And I used to always say when I was young, I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back. That was something I always said. Mm-hmm. And that's a whole nother story about where that comes from. I got hypnotized and got some answers on that. But I meant to become a Scorpio. And now I try to, I'm working in a Scorpio muggle job, a career field. As a social worker, I work with victims of trauma. I deal with sexual assault. I deal with domestic violence, suicide, all kinds of stuff.
Well, that's hard.
And that's Scorpio. That's 8th house. So I'm doing that. And I'm meant to balance the practical side of life, which is Taurus, making money, having security, being able to pay your bills, being able to survive, your basic needs, with doing something deeper and spiritual to help other people, to teach and write about it. And that's what I do with astrology. So I'm trying to learn how to balance this. Like, I'm still in it, but by the time I'm 60, 61, I know that I'll be where I'm supposed to be. So I'm just waiting for the universe to, those triggers, like
so
those.
That's all I got to do. Wait another couple years.
Yeah. Well, you're in it. Like, but yeah. And I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of things happen that are going to flow for you, that are going to click.
It's happening right now. And I understand the law of attraction. I've been working on it. But I've gone through a lot of crap, a lot of stuff, and I don't usually talk about it, because to me, and even I've never asked why me, but it's kind of like I've been saying, like, okay, now we've learned a lot. Now, can we just sort of push past this and keep going?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the first thing, I'm going to look at in the chart or the nodes. So let me go through for the listeners out there. Let me tell everybody how you can get your birth wheel. And that way, then you'll know what to look for with where your nodes are. So you can go to astro.com, or you can Google free birth wheel. And what you need is, I'm going to put it in the chat. You need your date of birth. You need your date and year of birth. Date and year of birth. You need your exact time of birth, as close as you can get.
What if they don't know? Like, I know you can do that.
If you don't know, it's okay. It's simple. If you don't know, you need to put 12 noon. 12 p.m. Is what in New York, if you don't know the place. Like if someone's adopted, things like that. And I can get into how we do chart rectification, which is a way that we can narrow down someone's accurate time by how they look, how that mask is. We talked about the ascendant. If you can figure out someone's rising sign or ascendant, that's how you first perceive someone. That's how you first feel their energy when you meet them. So if I meet someone in person, or I'll have someone send me a picture of their face to try to, if they don't know, and I'll say, you got a Scorpio look. There's Scorpio somewhere. So we'll mess around with it. And then what do you know? They're like, well, I'm born between 12 and 2, my mom said, but they don't know. And Scorpio rising. So I go by that. So there's ways to get an accurate chart. But if you don't know, we still can know the node, the sign the node is in. What will change, guys, is the house that you're supposed to master your soul mission in. But you can at least know the sign that you're meant to master with no time. So just put 12 p.m. New York, or 12 p.m. where you're born, your date and year of birth. And that's how Marcy did her middle son's chart. Yeah, absolutely. And so you can get that wheel. So get the wheel out and take some notes, because I'm going to tell you what each nodal pair, what their karmic learning is. Very basic and simple. And in our book that Bernie and I wrote, Astrology's Magical Nodes of the Moon, we make it simple. It's basic. You can read it and understand, okay, this is what I'm meant to learn. This is what I'm meant to let go of. These are tips that can help me balance my nodes of my soul mission. So this is what the book's about. It's not a long read, guys. It's pretty short book, and you can get on Kindle, paperback, and it's very easy. You don't have to be an astrologer to read our book. I'll tell you that right now. You don't have to be an astrologer to read any of my books, really. You don't have to be an astrologer, because I try to explain it like you
You
never
really
did.
are an amazing teacher, and many people that have worked with you in here are saying also in the chat here, but you are, like I say, I don't like, I love every guest I have on. I usually become friends with guests if with Gavin or whatever, but there are people that have really said things that have really been life changing, and you are one of those people. Like, I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. I
No,
really
no.
do share your website with people. I tell them about you, because most people will say what I kind of say, well, I don't really get astrology. And you said you will when you check out Carmen's books and her website, and you do a lot of things live. And
Thank you so much.
mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Aries Libra nodes. So you know how I told you guys, when you take a picture of the sky and you put it on a piece of paper, that's your birth chart, just in a simplistic way. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. So it's 12 sections, there's 12 houses. Then all the signs are on one of the houses, right? Because that's in the sky, like we talked about. And then the planets are all in a certain star constellation, a sign, and they're in a certain area of the sky, which we call houses. So every sign in astrology has a polar opposite sign.
I remember you saying that, yes.
So we're going to start with, there's 12 signs. So that would be right. That would be
you can use my birth date if you want. Like, I've always told you that if you need a birth date or whatever, I'm okay with it. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do that in a little bit. I may pull your chart up here.
I'm looking for it as I'm talking to you, because I know you sent me one.
You need to put in the chat what your date, time, place, everything in the private chat, and I'll pull it up here on the side in a minute, because I didn't tell you this. I had a mat crash and I lost every chart I ever did for 8 years in April on the solar eclipse. Yeah, in Aries. Because guess where it was? In my 8th house, on my 8th house moon, and I had to have something taken from me, and it was my computer. Lost everything, all my manuscripts, all my pictures, all my charts. So I started from scratch on April 9, guys. So if you ever did a chart with me before, I don't have it anymore, unless you shared it with me since, or if I can find you in an email. Oh, it was awful. I cried. I had a lot of sick feeling in my stomach, guys. It was awful. But I wish, I'm glad that it was just my computer and not someone close to me in a person, because I was worried, because there was a stellium in my 8th house during that solar eclipse, the huge one on April 8, guys. And I felt it like I was dying. I mean, it was all in my 8th house, on my Aries 8th house stellium. And I was like, I'm going to lose something. I just had this bad vibe feeling. And the thing is, even the Apple people couldn't figure out. The tech people are like, ma'am, it should be on the cloud. It's not even on the cloud. Like, everything was gone.
I have Apple phones. I have, well, you can, I don't have a Mac computer, but I'm guessing, I don't know if you can plug in an external drive. I think you can, but you're right. It should be on the cloud.
Well, he said it usually is. And he did all these things. And guys, the only way I was able to save anything is that through email. If I had emailed something to myself, so guess this, I was halfway done with a book that was due, my new book. I got a new book coming out next August.
Again, another one. Well, then you got to come back on again. Then
I got another book, guys, and guess what? I had to get an extension. The due date is September 14th, because I lost all of it. I had to start over.
Oh my gosh.
8th house, death and rebirth, guys. 8th house. Anyway, so so message me your stuff, because I don't have your chart anymore in there, because I did it before my crash with my mat. It was awful, guys. It was awful. And the same week my mat crashed. I had a car accident and I burnt my finger really bad. This is Aries, guys, like 8th house Aries stuff. I mean, this is why I believe in astrology. I'm like, whoa, like I can't make it up. But then I had 3 good things happen, 3 bad, and then I had 3 good. So it's all balanced. So anyway, but if you look at, in the sky, Aries starts the zodiac, and Aries polar opposite is Libra. So the nodes of the moon will always, if you have an Aries Libra node, The opposite's always going to be one of those signs. So if your
Okay.
north node's Aries, Libra is always going to be your opposite, your south node.
Okay.
If your north node is Libra, then Aries is your south node. So they're always, it could be flip, right? Libra,
Right.
Aries, Aries, Libra. But the energy of the sign of those nodes will be the same. They're the nodes of relationship karma.
Okay.
Relationship karma. So it's all about balancing your needs, your wants, your selfish desires, your goals, what you want with your partner, with other people, having to learn to balance that. And so many times, I've been researching the nodes for years, guys. These nodes are the nodes of often separation and divorce. I'll be honest with you. I
Okay.
have not met very many people that have the Aries Libra nodes flip either way that had not divorced at least once or had more than one marriage.
I'm divorced.
A
And
couple times. I mean, a couple times. I maybe twice. I met someone that, but then they fit my other category of research. These nodes as well might not marry and feel like relationships are blocked. That also plays out as a pattern with the Aries Libra nodes. So they either marry young, married at a young age, marry before their Saturn return, or in their Saturn return in their early, mid-20s, whatever, they end up maybe realizing they didn't even know who they really were during that time because we changed so much. And then they move on from the relationship and they end up, remarrying or being single, because if the North Node is Aries, you're meant to learn to be self-reliant and independent and not need anyone to take care of you. Like I got this myself, but your soul is used to having a partner and always depending on other people and having someone take care of you. You're used to that. So it's like these people want a partner, typically until they
right.
realize, you know what? I just need myself. I don't need anybody. I can just have friends and date and have companions. Like I don't have to have a piece of paper. So these are the kind of issues that the people with these nodes go through. And if someone is a Libra North node, what I often tell them, and they get emotional about it, is the deeper pattern of the Libra North Node, South Node Aries is that they have to let people help them because they don't want to feel weak or vulnerable because they had to be survivors. They were Aries in
That
past.
would be me. I found my birth chart, by the way, that you did. That's what I've been looking for. I'm finding a way. I'll email it to you if you want.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
quite long. It was amazing, but I did find it. So let me see how
Okay.
I can, because I saved it in my PDFs in my I think it's called iBooks or something. I'm trying to find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So
how,
If you got the birth wheel, if you start at the left, the houses should be numbered starting with house 1 through 12 going this way. So look for the horseshoe looking or the headphone looking symbol. It's like you're wearing headphones. That's the north node of the moon. Okay, that's your soul mission. See what sign it's in and what house it's in. I'm not sure what you're looking at if you got your wheel, but you want to start at the left at the rising, and the houses start there, and then you go bottom around. Hopefully that helps.
okay,
So,
I'm sending this to you right now. It's in a PDF form, so I hope you can open it. But I finally found a way to send it to you from the iBooks.
oh, cool.
So it should be coming any second. And then because I've always told you I don't mind if you've used me and then you got an example. And she does do readings for people.
Yeah, I love to do
Yeah,
consults for
we're gonna
people.
stop this right here because this. Sorry, we gotta flush the toilet, guys. That's not allowed here, Alan. Sorry, but yeah, you can't promote yourself on here. So I can give you one more opportunity. You're welcome to stay,
So
but this isn't the place. But go ahead, Carmen. Sorry.
you are a South Node Libra. So you confirmed all the things that I just said. I forgot you were South Node Libra.
And I didn't know because I haven't looked at it. I thought I had it saved in my astrology file on my phone, and I didn't. I had to go. Was going through my email when you were talking. I was going through all this stuff, and then I thought, I know I saved it in iBooks, so that's how I found it.
Well, this is what's cool too. Well, your south node's Libra, your north node is Aries. So you fit the thing where in past lives you were like a warrior princess, like you had to survive on your own, and you're very self-reliant, very independent, fiercely independent, and you don't want to feel vulnerable, and
Never.
and you don't want to feel dependent on someone.
Never. I
So
never do. Nope.
so you're in and that's what Marcia said, you're in your nodal return and Saturn return right now. So what that means, guys, nodal return, it means, okay, so right now in the sky, we know there's all the planets in a certain thing right now, right? So it's not your birth chart, right? It's just what's going on right now. So if someone's born right now, we take a picture of the sky right now, that's their chart right now. And right now, the nodes of the moon are in the signs of Aries and Libra right now. So when Marcy said you're having your nodal return, it's kind of like when we talk about the Saturn return. That means that the nodes are back where they are in your birth chart, and they're awakening energy. They're testing you right now.
Oh yeah, they tested me.
So relationships and partnership and compromise and using your voice to stand up and fight for your rights and what you want, Aries, you're in this balance.
And I'm doing it too, because I know
Mhm.
boundaries are one of my lessons, even without an
Yeah.
astrological chart.
Yeah.
But you know what I just said? I always age myself by a year. I don't know why. Like my birthday is August 15th. Right
Yeah.
afterwards, I said to my son, somebody was being a jerk. And I said, you know what? I'm too old for this crap. I don't give a crap what people think. I'm going to tell them, no, cut that out right now. I wouldn't have said that. But
Yeah.
exactly, I am now starting to use my voice, stand up and say, no, I don't deserve that from
Yeah.
you. That's disrespectful. And I
Yeah.
don't have to be rude, but I stand
Yes.
my ground and I speak up. Mhm.
Yes, because as a Libra, your soul, when you imagine years and years ago when you were little, your
Mhm.
soul was a peacemaker. Libras are
Oh, yeah.
peacemakers. Libras avoid conflict like the plague.
I
They
still
don't want
do.
conflict. They don't want, if someone is disturbed or mad at them, it destroys them. Like they want
Yes.
peace and harmony in all areas of their life. They need peace and
You know what
harmony.
I'm going to tell you to validate that? I was working with someone and like just it was crafting stuff years ago and we were selling it. And I was also going for something called body talk at the time.
Yeah.
And through a misunderstanding, this person was so angry with me. I had said nothing that wasn't true, or they just took it the wrong way. They decided they weren't going to go work with me with this craft fair and the whole bit. When she did my body talk, she said it is literally akin to somebody having a cancer diagnosis, the amount of stress
Wow.
and because I just felt so awful
Yeah.
because that's not what I meant. And they cut off all communication because they heard it from a third person. I wasn't
Wow.
talking about them. I hadn't said anything mean. And
No.
she said, I cannot believe the distress you have over this. So I'm
Wow.
telling you, it is absolutely right.
Yes.
I hate conflict.
Yes. 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 And your nodes, these nodes, North Node Aries makes you have to have some conflict because Aries like battle. They like competition.
I just heard that from spirit area, Aries battle.
Aries, you got to go and you got to take your sword up and you got this. Like you're here to be self-reliant and fiercely independent and a survivor. Aries are the most resilient sign, in my opinion, even more than Scorpio,
Maybe
because they
that's
have
why
a
my son came to
yeah.
me with the severe autism too, because it forced me to stand up. It forced me to speak out. It forced me to be an advocate, things I would never have done had he not been in my life.
Advocate. That is the word for an Aries North Node, to
Mhm,
advocate for
mhm.
yourself and other people. And also, you're good in a crisis.
Oh my God,
Aries,
that's so funny. You said I just said that yesterday
you
because
just
I
are.
told you guys. I
You
told
just know
you.
what to do. You just know
So
what to
my
do.
dog almost died without warning. I was telling you
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And I was super calm, super
Wow.
chill. As a nurse, I've worked in critical care, and people would be running around going, how are you so calm? And I'd say, I don't know, I just am. So after my dog recovered, an hour later, and my son flew over here, he goes, Mom, I must get this from you. I'm great in a crisis. And I kind of was letting the stress come out a little bit. I was starting to feel what had just happened. I said, honey, I just went through all this. I was very calm. You're seeing the after effect after the crisis has passed. Now it's okay if you need to shed a few tears or you need to do whatever. So I get it. Sorry, I wanted to add that because I want to validate what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So those nodes are double whammy for you right now because your soul mission is to learn to be an Aries. But also, what's going on is there's the nodes in the sky right now are in your nodal sign. So we call that a nodal return, which means that you're going to be tested. So this is a great time for you to get into that North Node more. And I always tell people to read everything you can about your North Node sign
Okay.
because that's the sign that you got to get comfortable with. Like I had to get comfortable with Scorpio. You got to get comfortable with Aries.
Oh, and
Okay.
it just feels like I'm wearing a wool coat thinking about it. Like it just feels so. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay. So let me hit the other nodes so those listening, because we got, and that way they can see their patterns, and then we'll get into more. So Taurus and Scorpio. If your nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio, or Scorpio Taurus, like me and Marcy, we got these. What it is it's the nodes of letting go, forgiveness, healing, resurrection, rebirth, transformation of your mind, body, and spirit.
Mhm.
It's becoming self-protection, learning to be able to protect yourself and to have really strong boundaries and to also be kind of a business person, business minded, a little bit more calculating, a little bit more strategic about things. And also, balancing your need for security with allowing change into your life, because Tauruses don't like change. Scorpios are all about change. So
Mhm.
depending on if your node is a Scorpio or Taurus, if it's your North Node or South Node, you'll feel the energy to know what you're here to master. What you've already mastered is the South Node. It's the upside down look-in headphones, and the headphones that look up, or the horseshoe, is your soul mission. It's your North Node, guys. So Taurus, Scorpio, the two pairs of nodes that I feel are the most difficult. This is just my opinion as an astrologer.
Okay.
Other astrologers can have different opinions. That's fine. But my opinion is the hardest set of nodes, the two most painful, are Aries Libra nodes and Taurus Scorpio nodes.
Oh, wow. Right with the 8th and 12th house, too.
Yeah, I mean, because think about it. Relationship, love, marriage, all these things, speaking up for yourself, not, being independent, those things are hard, you know? And then Taurus Scorpio, forgiving, letting go of the past, like, and healing yourself from abuse, from betrayal, from hard times, becoming spiritual through your losses, through your sacrifice. That's Taurus Scorpio, sacrificing something to have a better life.
My
Sacrifice.
heart's still breaking what you shared about the loss you had on the eclipse of all days. Oh, my
Oh
goodness.
my gosh, I felt so sick. And my husband said to me, there's nothing you can do. You got to let it go. That's what he said to me. And I'm like,
You want
Scorpio,
to, as much as you love him, you just want to shake him and say, no, you just don't get it. And a whole book almost in there and all everything.
I mean, I had to write my editor and say, hey, I lost it. I'm gonna have to start over. And they've been so great. And I got till the 15th. I mean, I'm literally on a deadline. Like, all I'm doing is locking myself in. I'm not done yet. I'm editing still. I'm like, I got to get on it. So anyway, but it has been April was a tough month for me, and so was August. And so these things that happen, it's to get us where we need to go. So I'm becoming more of a Scorpio every day because of people, the work I do.
Okay, I got to ask you a question quickly.
Yeah.
Is that why old people, elderly people, say, get a reputation for being crotchety and grumpy and whatever? Is it because they've gone into their
Well,
North
yeah,
Node,
because they're already mastered their North Node. They're like, okay, I'm ready to go, man, or I've already
or
done.
they're coming into their third again? But what I'm saying is they almost become you're striving to the exact opposite, right? And from what I'm getting from you, it's almost like it's something that you as a person, meaning a global you, myself, you,
Mhm.
Michelle, anybody out there that's listening and sharing, and thank you, that's really distasteful to somebody personally. Like I said, that literally feels like a scratchy wool cactus coat to try and put that on. I have
Well,
goosebumps as I'm saying it.
well,
It's just
it's uncomfortable because we don't know how to do it. And
that makes sense.
it's uncomfortable too because it's so different than how we want to be.
I
That's
got
what I realized because I'm like, I don't want to be a Scorpio but I had a lot of friends. This is another thing, guys. You tend to attract the sign that your nodes are in, those people into your life because you're learning from them. So I always attracted a lot of Scorpio and Tauruses. And I always admire them. Like I'm like, I wish I could be like you. Like I remember telling my friend who's a Scorpio, she's like, I don't let emotion get me. She's like, I just cut it off. I just cut it off. I'm like, I want to be like that.
Is
I'm
that
like,
why my dad's a Taurus and my brother's a Scorpio? My mother's a Sagittarius.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, if someone looked at me wrong, I used to cry. I was so
Me too.
sensitive. And so I have to learn to be tough and hard as nails and not let people get me and not let people hurt me and protect myself. And that's Scorpio, right? And so and to let change in because I like to be comfortable and cozy. We all do.
Yeah.
But the South Node is where we like to be. And we have to start moving towards the new because that's why we're here. But don't worry, because like I said, the universe gets you where you need to go by the age 61. You're going to be in your node. We get there no matter what, guys. It doesn't matter. But if you try to learn this stuff early and start reading about your sign, your North Node sign and house, it's only going to help you and it will lessen probably even some of the things that might happen. You know, you may not feel blindsided then because it's like, well, I knew I had to go through these things because I read about my node. Then you'll understand, okay, I'm being tested because I have to learn to be more patient or have to learn to let go and allow change and or let go of, you know, things that are not helping me grow, that are making me stagnant, right? Because I mean, I remember laying in bed one night. This is Taurus Scorpio energy for those of you out there that have this. I had been so living in the past, thinking about the past. That's all I did. You know, this is Taurus. Reminiscing about childhood, stuff that happened a long time ago, old people I used to date, you know, all this old hurt, you know, all this stuff. And I'd be thinking about it and I would, you know, I'm very nostalgic. Like I remember everything from the past. Like I used to be a pack rat. I used to keep a scrapbook for every guy I dated with movie ticket stubs
Oh,
and,
wow.
and all their little love letters and all this crap, right? I mean, I had all
You're
this.
sentimental, right? And there's
I
nothing wrong with that.
I
But
was, and then, but all those people all hurt me, and I still had those scrapbooks. So you know what I did several years ago? I
a
burned them.
book burning party?
Burned that. I
Yeah.
burned. Well, one in particular needed to be burned. I burned it, and you can burn something, bury something. That's a very eighth house thing, very Scorpio, Taurus node thing is to burn, bury, release, and get rid of something, because that helps you totally let it go. So anyway, I burned some scrap, you know, but that was me, like, but I was laying in bed and I knew I'd been living in the past, and it was that time when I heard the voice that said, "You need to be how am I going to make you Scorpio?" But I still couldn't snap out of it. I was stuck in this old pattern of stagnation. That's Taurus. They get stagnant because they're like a bull that puts their little horns, you know, in the ground. And they don't want to move because they're stubborn and strong-willed, and they think their way is the best way. And they don't take advice from others. And people they ask for advice and you can give it to them, but they're not going to take it. And they got to do it themselves. Tauruses are stubborn that way, but they're patient. But they like to learn things on their own. They don't want to be told what to do, right? So I knew all these things, but I was still stubborn. I admit it. I was strong-willed, and I laid there, and it came across me. I just had this feeling: you have to completely let the past go if you want to have your book published. I felt it come over me in the night. It was 3:00 in the morning because I had just sent my first manuscript in. And they were scaring me because they're like, well, we don't know if we're going to, you know, do it because we got to do a market analysis and we got to make sure, you know, it's going to sell and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I wanted it so bad, but I thought, I don't know if they're going to do it. And I was like, I may not I have to self-publish again. I didn't want to have to self-publish again. I wanted to get a published book, right? Astrology book. And that was my Sun Signs, Houses, and Healing book. Was the first one I got published. So I laid there and I knew I have to let go of the past, but not just that, a specific person. And this person It was a karmic thing that had gone on since I was in high school. It never, there was, it was like a connection that never was severed. And
I
it was
had
like,
one of those.
and I knew, and it was like, you have to let it, you have to cut the cord, let it go fully forever. If you want this book, you want, and I knew, and I'm,
Because it was holding you back.
oh yeah,
And
it was
you're
holding me
making
back.
so much sense because there's some things that I really want to happen, especially in the time period I'm in right now. And I know what I need to do, but fear is a big detractor from moving forward as well, not just
Mhm.
comfort. But I just love what you said earlier that if you familiarize yourself with your own personal birth chart and what you've got going on, it's not so jarring and blindsiding because you kind of have an idea, right?
Yeah, you know, you kind of know the energies that are coming, the energies in your life, and you can, you know, do you know where to lead, you know why certain things are happening. So I did. I finally said, okay, I want the book. I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to go. I don't know how. I didn't know how. I didn't know how not to be a Taurus. I mean, we don't, you didn't know how not to be a Libra. You're still there. I'm still like, I'm still a Taurus girl at heart. I mean, I'm like, I don't, this Scorpio stuff, I'm like, oh, the only thing that helps me is I got eighth house. So I got a lot of Scorpio energy because of eighth house planets, which helps me. But to be a true Scorpio is to be business minded and strategic and calculating and healing. I mean, it you know, psychological too, but trusting their gut and trusting and not trusting people. See, I'm opposite of that. I trusted everybody. I believe everybody is,
I had no idea, for example,
yeah.
that I have trust issues with people. Julie Jean Bassett is here. I'm going to give her a shout out. She's
Okay.
an incredible animal
Oh,
communicator. She
nice.
always comes to the shows. I took my animal communication course with her, but she's also a
Oh,
shamanic practitioner. And
oh,
she validated for me something that happened that should never happen to a child at the age of 4, that on a shamanic journey, I didn't say a lot, but she saw it, and she
wow.
really helped me with a lot of healing. So I want to give
Good.
her a shout out on here.
Thank
But
you. Thank
mhm.
you. That's great.
But
And
I'm realizing a lot of things you're saying over what's been happening over the last year or two,
yeah.
making a lot of
Yes.
sense.
You're in that nodal return and all the you're in your Saturn return, double whammy, both. So you're getting you're gonna embrace Aries soon. You already are, you may not know it. You may not see it, but other people around you, your family and friends probably see you being more Aries, being more assertive, being more straightforward about how you think and feel,
Mhm,
standing up. Well, what about me? I don't like that. I don't want that because
mhm.
Libra never does that. Libra is always about how can I please other people?
I'm a
How can
people
I,
pleaser.
how can I, yes, how can I give other people what they want and make them feel safe and good? They neglect themselves at times, Libra.
All the time.
You gotta be an Aries. You know what Aries keyword is? What about me? I am.
I really don't like that term, but right, yeah.
That's because you're a Libra soul.
Maybe that's why it irritates me, and I'm being personal here. When I work with people or
Yeah.
clients or something, it doesn't irritate me. It's people in general that you hear it and you see it that are always in the victim mode. That's their story. And again, it's not my job to judge, but it's like
Mhm.
sandpaper to me when I keep hearing my mother, for one, would always say, "What about me? When is it my turn?" The woman lives the life of a queen practically and can't see it.
But well, that's now victim's a little different because Aries is not a victim. Aries is confident, brave, courageous,
Mhm,
assertive, impulsive, bold. They trust their gut instinct. So Aries is not victim.
mhm,
They're a fighter. They're like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna survive and I'm gonna take care of what I need for me first because they know that they got to survive and they don't want to have to depend on anyone to have to give them money or to pay their bill. They want to be able to do that on their own.
mhm,
That's what you're moving towards.
mhm.
So
I've always been that way. Even
yeah.
when I was married, I always had my own bank account.
Mhm.
Hubby had his own bank account. We put
Yeah.
money. I've been very independent my whole life,
Yeah,
always.
that's
Mhm.
good. So you're that's the thing with the nodes. We're balancing them. So you're not giving up your Libra. I'm not giving up my Taurus. We're just learning to balance the nodes. So let me hit the others real quick. So we got
Please do, yes. Because Carmen's going to try. We could talk forever. Carmen's going to try and duck out a few minutes early. I'm going to hang with you guys till the end. But she just got back into town and jumped on this show, which I'm so grateful for, as I'm sure all of you are, because she's incredible. But I will have her back. You are a fan favorite, by the way. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. So Gemini, Sagittarius, guys. So Gemini, Sagittarius nodes are the nodes of learning and knowledge and communication. So if you have those nodes, you're here to learn, study, all the hobbies, all the things you love. You're here to network. You're here to socialize. You're here to travel. They're the nodes of travel, exploration, adventure, and talking to people verbally, writing, radio, teaching, natural teachers.
I love to teach.
These are the nodes of that. So if you have Gemini Sag nodes, very big into learning. Also freedom and independence. When you have the Gemini Sag nodes, it doesn't matter south, north, that polarity, you're gonna be a free spirit. You're not gonna want to be tied down and told what to do. You're gonna like your freedom, and you need to feel independent, but it's hard. So relationships, you need someone that can mentally stimulate your mind. So you need communication is key. So relationship partners or whatever, friendship, you need people that can talk to you about topics you're interested in. And that's how you fall in love, is through someone's mind first and through talking. Mm-hmm. So, they always say the number one reason for divorce is communication issues and money. The top two reasons people divorce. Communication. It's a big one. So you guys are natural communicators, natural teachers, adventurous, explorer. You love to travel to foreign countries, be on the move. You can be restless. There's a restlessness in your spirit where you always feel like you need to be doing something, or you're wanting to go somewhere, physically moving around, driving in your car with the convertible down, whatever it is. But being outdoors, hiking, all those things. So it's a big thing. Oh, hi, Christine. Hi. Got some of my peeps in here tonight.
Good. You just highlight. If there's a comment you want me to highlight, I will be happy to do that.
Nice. And so Gemini Sag guys, I feel like they're fun nodes. They're fun to me. They're lighter. They're air and you can feel the difference. Air and fire and get out there and travel and explore. And so then let's do Cancer Capricorn. Cancer Capricorn, this one can be a little challenging too. I'd say the third most difficult set of nodes. So Cancer Capricorn are the nodes of family karma. Family karma. And that means your parents, your childhood, your roots, how you're raised, the family you came from, your family who raised you, and then the family you make, your partner, your marriage, your kids. And these are the nodes of balancing the home and family with your career and your work.
Yeah, that could be a hard one too. Yeah.
Home and work. So, we always talk about work-life balance. That is a key learning issue with the Cancer Capricorn nodes, because there's always responsibilities, and these people feel very responsible for their parents. And I would say, out of 100 charts, if I ask people randomly to send me 100 charts that are Cancer Capricorn nodes, North Node or South, doesn't matter, that pair, 99 out of the 100 of them will tell me yes, that they had to take care of a parent in their home at some time in their life, or financially, emotionally take care of their parents when they get older, or even when they were younger, that they were kind of like role reversal, like they feel responsible for their parents, even if they're not the oldest child. Sometimes they never leave their hometown because they feel like their family needs them. There's all these energies and patterns can play out in different ways. But I just did a radio show the other night, and one of the guys, he had put up his chart. He was these nodes, and I didn't know anything about him, didn't know him. And I'm like, you have family karma. I said, Cancer's the mother, Capricorn's the father. Did you take care of your mother at some time in her life? And he said, yes, he had moved her in and she had passed away and he took care of her till she died in his home.
I
And
think I know who you're talking about. I do. I'm
there's just,
positive.
there's just a lot of karma. So let me give an example too. Like my mother has these notes and she's never left my hometown. Her whole life she's lived in the same hometown and my dad, but it was because she's so close to her mom and dad, my grandma and grandpa. And she took care of my grandmother as she went through Alzheimer's and there every day to visit her nursing home. There for years, always taking care of her mother. Now she's taking care of my grandfather. I went home this weekend to see them. He was in the hospital. My mother's there every day to take care of her dad. That's kind of the way these things play out. So she's Cancer Capricorn nodes, my mom. So I see this with a lot of people, and that's your learning is to balance. And sometimes it's a family focus, like you really didn't get to work or have the career you wanted because you already did that. So like if the North Node's Cancer, it could be, you're really here to take care of of other people. And you can't really shine and focus on the Capricorn work stuff like a lot of people do, right? And so Capricorn, if your North Node's Capricorn, you might want to be home and be a stay-at-home mom or dad and take care of the kids, but you have to go out in the world in the public eye and you have to make money and you got to work and you got to be successful and do that. So that's Capricorn North Node, right? And I'm not going to get into the houses because that plays a role too, but the 4th and 10th houses are also Cancer Capricorn houses. So when the nodes are in those houses, we analyze the energy the same way, guys, what I'm telling you right now. And same with 2nd and 8th house, which is Taurus, Scorpio. And then the 1st and 7th house are Aries, Libra. Okay. And so now Leo, Aquarius, we got 2 more sets to do. Leo and Aquarius. These nodes to me are fun because Leo is all about having fun and having joy and having happiness and doing what's pleasurable, what their hobbies, what brings people their pleasure. They're generous, they're affectionate, they're kind, they're fun loving, they're also free spirited. These are the nodes of independence as well. They like to be able to be themselves and be creative and unique and eccentric and different. They want to be able to stand out from other people. They don't want to just follow.
You have purple hair. I know you're talking about the nodes, but I'm a Leo.
You have a lot of Leo. Yeah. And so you don't want to, they don't want to conform to society's way of putting them in a box. So they're very, they're leaders. They're very innovative, can be very intelligent, very, artistic, creative. Some of them can be, Aquarius is more like the science technology, think outside the box, unconventional, non-traditional, questioning beliefs. Well, why do I believe this way? Being open-minded, being friendly, being a networker, connecting people. These are the nodes of like friends. Connecting social networks, right? Like, oh, I know someone has this show, right? This is an author. Like, you're good at that. Like that's Leo Aquarius. It's about your acquaintances and your network that bring you success. Being part of groups, being a part of groups, that's a big thing. And fighting for causes that can help large groups of people, whether it's children, animals, homelessness, all those things. So Leo Aquarius's big thing is expressing their artistic and creative talents.
That is a fun one because I'm telling you, if I'm not doing this, and I know we're not talking about me right now, but if I'm not doing this or something else for the house, I am creating, always creating.
Yeah, it's Leo, and that's that energy. So that's how you analyze the nodes with the same kind of Leo personality traits. And so Leo Aquarius, those are fun nodes to me. It can also be about, Leo likes to be in love. Okay, they rule the 5th house of children, love affairs.
That makes me think of Jennifer Lopez. I have no idea why, but I'm pretty sure she's a Leo.
Yes, she is. She's been in love a lot. She's been married a lot. She's been in love. But they like the feeling of being in love. They like romance. They can be, generous. They like to, a lot of them are dancers, musicians, artists, in theater, leaders. They might be, an administrator and be a supervisor. It can play out. They like to be respected, admired, and cherished. And that's Leo energy, right?
Yeah.
Aquarius is kind of opposite of that, but they share similar. Every polar opposite has similar traits that we're balancing. When I say polar opposites, people always think that means they're very different. They're actually very compatible. They actually share similarities in astrology. So it doesn't mean that they're polar. It means they're a lot alike. In
I've
fact,
had a lot of friends that are Aquarius, a lot of
that's why.
Aquarius.
That's why we draw our opposite sign, because it balances us out.
Mhm.
That's why we're balancing the nodes, because they're opposite signs, but they're similar. So
Yep.
Aquarius is more detached emotionally. They don't need to have that love and the feeling of a Leo. They are more about, how can we be friends and talk and debate different topics? What do you believe in? They really love to connect with people that believe in other people and believe in the same things they do. Or they like to open up people's minds and shock people and awaken them to thinking about things differently. That's Aquarius. Like, they want to
My
dress.
closest friend right now, she is one of the sweetest, kindest people I've ever met in Aquarius. But yeah, the things she knows sometimes blow my mind away. And I do connect with people on an intellectual basis. I am fascinated by people's minds, and especially when you can have a very stimulating conversation like this. And she is like that. So you're absolutely right again.
So Aquarius, Leo, Michelle said her son's a Leo. This is a cool thing about these nodes, the Leo nodes and Leo people. Leos, almost always, the Leos I've ever known or did charts for, they have a lot of good luck with getting a high level position at early in life.
Yeah.
Whatever curve they're in, because they're the sun, they're ruled by the sun. They shine, they rule the public, they get noticed, they're very charming and
Yeah.
flirtatious and friendly, and they love people, and people love them because they'll flirt with you. It's hard not to like Leos, because they're kind and happy people.
Do
They
you
all
find though, very, and I'm not trying to keep you, because I'm
Yeah.
trying, I know you're trying to get through the signs, but very quickly
Yeah.
with people that are Leos, so they almost know what people need. Like you walk up to someone and you can kind of tell, like just you can
They're
feel
good. They're good.
how.
They're very intuitive. They're very intuitive. I got a good friend that's a Leo. He's a coworker. He was a coworker of mine. He got a new job now, but we worked together for a while. He knew what people needed. Exactly what you just said. He knew, he'd say, he said, "Hey buddy," he called, and he just, he knew if
Yeah.
someone needed someone just to check on him. He knew if someone, needed to go to lunch, or, and he was very charming, very charismatic, but they're good with people. Leos are good socializing.
Hmm.
So are Aquarius. This is what I'm talking about. It's socializing, the social networking, connecting people, talking. Oh, I know them from there. Oh, I knew him. They connect people. And then that makes people like them because the same people. So, that's kind of Leo. And Leos typically, there's the other side of Leo, is that they're the king and queen of the zodiac. So the king wants to be in charge, or the
Hmm.
queen. So they like to give the orders and they like to take care of people, but they want to be in an elevated position. So a lot of them end up being leaders because they know how to lead people, and they like to, they're good
They're good with
administrators.
people. They're good with people.
They
I
can
will
be
add quickly, Mish is a Leo, and so she shared she thinks that a lot of people dislike her, and she doesn't understand why. So maybe she needs a birth chart. I don't know. That would help her maybe figure out where she is and why this is sort of happening. Would that help, do you think,
good.
Carmen?
Well, just like, yeah, absolutely. You can contact me, CarmenTurner-Schott.com, and we could do a session, and I can take a look at your chart, because there's always something, like it could be your rising sign, typically is what it is. And it could be someone that has a strong Pluto. If your Pluto is right there on the rising, on the ascendant in the first house, people either love you or hate you. That's how they're either really drawn to you, or they're like afraid of you a little bit, because you make them feel uncomfortable, because you're kind of like, you could be a mirror for them in some way, Mish. So there could be a lot of things. But if you want me to look, I'd be happy to schedule an appointment. You can contact me through my website. And you can find my videos on YouTube too, about the 8th house and rebirth and some things too. If you have 8th house planets or 12th house. Also, I have Facebook groups about those as well. A mirror. Yeah. You're mirroring for people. So there's something. It's either Pisces, 12th house, Pluto, could be 8th house, Scorpio energy. There's something going on there that I could pin out. Oh, cool. In Australia.
I
No,
always say she's in the future. I didn't go through everybody like I normally do because I knew we had lots to talk
yeah.
about. I
Yeah.
call her my birthday twin because when it's my
Mhm.
birthday, she's actually August 14th, but
Oh,
it's
nice.
August 15th when we connect
Oh,
usually.
that's
So,
cool. Yeah, that's cool. So, but yeah, I'd be happy to. And then, so Leo Aquarius, socializing, networking, um, being unique and standing out, very, very creative people, very creative and intellectual and friendly people, friendly. They just are, Leo's more emotional. Aquarius is more intellectual, rational. They're
mhm.
more balanced than a Leo. A Leo gets very passionate.
Yeah.
They roar like a lion. Aquarius
Mhm.
is the water bear. They're balanced. They're
Oh,
air.
us.
Air sign. Yeah, yeah. They balance the emotions and they want to help people. They care like a Leo, but they're more unemotional. They're more detached from it.
Mhm.
They don't have to be in love. They kind of doubt that stuff because they're an air sign. They're like, well, it's just going to fade. That doesn't make sense. Like, do they agree with me? Do they have the same beliefs as me? That's more important to them. Can they communicate and talk with me? Can they be my friend?
Mhm.
They tend to marry friends. Leos tend to marry lovers.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. So the balancing, it's the cool thing with balancing like yin yang. There's
That's exactly what I was just thinking. I
yeah.
ended up keeping you longer that we're almost done. We got like a couple
Well,
minutes
let
left.
me
I know you wanted
no,
to
that's okay.
get
Let me hit this last Virgo.
okay if you're okay because
Then
we're
let me
almost done anyway. So go ahead.
let me tell you about the new moon in Virgo tonight. Since we
Ooh,
are this
okay.
just because this is cool. So Virgo Pisces nodes. Virgo Pisces nodes are the nodes of practical service and spiritual service. So if you think about this, Virgos are the perfectionist of the zodiac. They worry, they're efficient, they're productive, they're hard workers, they're work focused, they're dutiful. They like to they like to serve others. They like to help people in practical ways, doing things for people. They love to teach, they love to write, they love to communicate. They're the communicator, they're by, all that. But the thing with Virgo is they have very high standards, are very hard on themselves. And so they have to learn to self-care and that they can't just, do everything for everyone else. They got to take time for themselves as well. Then
Right.
you've got Pisces. Pisces are emotional. They're very empathic. They're known to be compassionate. Virgos are known to be more critical and more judgmental. Okay, and that's just because Virgo's Earth. They're practical. They're practical, but they do care. Now, Pisces are artistic, creative, spiritual. So these Pisces is the spiritual seeker, the mystic, mysterious. They usually are connected to dreams and altered states of consciousness, and so Pisces Virgo nodes are balancing um, practical life, like being in the boring world, is
Mhm.
Virgo. Virgos, what am I going to eat? Eating healthy, having a routine, having a diet, exercising, paying the bills, working, taking care of the kids, driving the kids to practice, all of the day-to-day activities of serving others in a practical way is Virgo. So if
Okay.
you have the node in Virgo, the north or south, you're either learning to be a Virgo or you're releasing that perfectionism and that high standard and the always feeling like you have to be doing something. That's Virgo. Achieving something, working, getting tasks done, organizing your husband's life, your kid's life, your dog's life. I mean, no, that's Virgo. And I'm a Virgo sun, so I'm like all about organizing and getting everything. I got a list of things I got to do. That's Virgo. And what Virgos need to learn that Pisces can do, because we're learning to balance. Pisces can just let go and escape into their imagination. They can
Okay.
just withdraw from the world and relax and just hang out and listen to music with their friends, play an instrument, do some art, do some cool stuff, hang out with their friends, go be social. They know how to relax. So I always tell people, with every time I do somebody's chart that has the Virgo Pisces nodes, either way, they always tell me they have a hard time learning to relax. They're
Ah,
either or they really struggle with being in the real world. Like Pisces does not like to do all those boring things, those mundane, practical duties that you have to do to survive in the world. You have to eat healthy. You got to take care of your diet, your health. That's Virgo. They rule the house of health. They rule, if you don't sleep, it's going to mess up your routine. You're going to get cranky. All that stuff, Pisces and Virgos need each other. So these are the nodes of service. It could either be practical service, or if you're Pisces North Node, you're here to find a spiritual path. And they're both here to serve other people and help people. That's the nodes of service. These are the nodes of service to others. But Pisces are here to connect to a higher power, to connect to something outside themselves. That's why Pisces South Node people are naturally spiritual. They're born that way. They believe in angels. They believe in ghosts. They believe in astrology, crystals. They're into all this stuff. That some of them are very artistic, musical, painters, artists, very creative. And they also can be prone to escapism, idealism. They can get hurt easily because they don't have boundaries. So Pisces lack boundaries, and they're learning to protect themselves and not to trust people so easily. And Virgo is more logical and practical, and they can see, but that doesn't make sense that they told you that because of this and this, and they analyze things. And Pisces like, but I love them. I feel love. And Virgo's like, but it's not healthy. They're not good for you. So they are like these opposites that are really similar. So it's like balancing serving others and being spiritual and being Pisces have to learn to be spiritual. If your South Node's Pisces, you have to learn to be more practical. Practicality and compassionate spirituality, balancing that.
We got about 2 minutes left. Please tell us what's significant about tonight and where to find you.
Okay, yes. Well, there's a new moon in Virgo tonight. And what that means is anytime there's a new moon, it means that we are supposed to set our intentions and how to manifest what we want. So we need to make our goals tonight. So we need to, I'd say, get your top 5 things that you want.
Okay.
And believe that you have them and really figure out, what do you want? Is it better health? Is it to get more motivated? Is it to get your book finished? Whatever it is, because Virgo are the doers. Virgos are efficient, productive, organized, practical. All of us are going to feel the Virgo new moon energy, and we're going to be able to get a lot of stuff done and accomplish that we maybe normally wouldn't. So guys, this is a good time. If you're a procrastinator, you can tap into the new moon energy tonight. You can just meditate, write down what you want. You need to write it down. Go to my website, CarmenTurner-Schott.com. On the home page, if you go to the home page, it says Inspired Living. There's a link. Okay. You can click it, and it'll take you to a new moon manifestation free PDF guide you can download. Okay. If you're also on my homepage, if you don't see the link at the top to get to the new moon manifestation guide, scroll down to the bottom of the homepage and you'll see where you can put in your name and email to download the free copy of my new moon guide. And it'll teach you all about the new moon, what to do tonight, everything. So I want to throw that out there.
That is awesome. And I know your books are for sale now, you guys. I know I always get so much feedback, and I can't wait for your next book. So hopefully I can have you back on in between the new book, because we always have so much to talk about. I love you. I am so grateful you were here. Very quickly, I want to let you guys know, if you ever want to get a hold of me, get a hold of me on Facebook.com/The Angel Rock. Right now, I am still working on my first course. So that's why this was good information for me tonight that I'm hoping to launch. And once I do, I'll have it under a domain name. Now, I've got 2 groups on Facebook: Paranormal University for all things paranormal, the Angel Rocker Tribe for all things spiritual. And I should have told you why you might want to get a hold of me. I do crystal Reiki. I do psychic readings. I do medium readings. I teach, and I do all kinds of other energy healing stuff. So I'd love to have you reach out. Also, don't forget to tune in next week. We have Paul Nugent coming on, another one of Gavin's people. We're going to be talking all about UFOs, ETs, George King and the Aetherius Society. So it's all for all you guys that love that type of stuff. And I will be back same time, same space next week Thursday. I'm going ahead here. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with David Hansel with the thing at the foot of the bed. We love you all, guys. Hang in there and have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you on Thursday. All right. Thank you to everyone that was here.
Thank you.